You've got questions. We've got answers. Welcome to Codename Goodgame. I'm your host for today, Samurai CGG. And I have a special guest with me, Rob from the gaming duo. What's up, Rob from the gaming duo?
It's good to be here, man. I really appreciate you having me on, Keebs. And yeah, it's been so long since I've been on the channel, and I don't know. I'm just looking forward to talking with my good buddy Keebs.
You look a little different, Rob. Did you do something with your face? You do something different?
I did finally start playing Halo.
Oh, yeah. I love Halo. Halo is my favorite game ever, and I just love Master Chief.
So I'm gonna play with you tonight, right?
Okay, yeah, for sure. You definitely, of course, after we do our code name, good game.
Yeah,
of course.
Forget Kel. Just forget.
Forget Kelvin. Forget Kelvin. What's up, Kelvin?
Okay, hello everybody. It's me, Mr. Tony. Today we have Sir Rob with me. We had the little bit that we wanted to try to do, and I'm like literally just before this, I'm like, what if we just pretend like it's Halloween and we're just dressed as each other? And Rob put on the glasses as Super Toad notices. Yes, folks, I have Sir Rob from the Gaming Duo podcast, and Rob, this is our first time doing a show.
Yes.
Just you and me. And that's freaking... Wait, actually, no. On Gaming Duo, I think you and me did something for that once. Voice Crack.
Yes, you co-hosted.
I remember
with
that.
Me. Yeah, you co-hosted with me a long time ago. It was a minute ago. But yes, this is not the first time me and you have just been together doing something. So, as always, it's going to be very, very exciting, and we have very good conversations, as always.
Yeah. I see Steffi earlier. She was like, "Hi, imposter."
No.
Chat, let us know if audio's great. And Rob, I'm really excited to have a one-on-one with you today. If chat, you're just joining us, I'm going to try a new format for today's episode, and maybe just going forward for a bit, where Rob chose a topic for this show. I chose a topic for this show. We're still going to have a big picture topic to kind of speculate about, and then the community chose a topic. And Rob, you shockingly chose a topic that is like so me. It might be our first thing. Even C2 is teasing, like, is Halo actually your favorite game of all time, or is it just your favorite series? Yeah, because one of the topics we're going to talk about today is the Halo Battle Royale was apparently real. Shockingly, that was... Oh, you guys can guess who chose what. Okay, that's the fun part of this stream. You'll find out when we get there. But who chose topic 1, Halo Battle Royales 2? Who chose topic number 2, Call of Duty is coming to cloud and the significance of its release next week? And also who chose the Xbox partner preview? How was it? And yeah. But Rob, first off, I just want to know. I just want you to know I appreciate you very much. And
thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
What's been a highlight or a de-highlight of the week for you? Any significant moments?
I'm kind of scared to get into Metaphor Refantasio. I haven't pulled the trigger on purchasing that game yet. I want to, but I know of the time commitment it has. I'm actually just trying to get through Astrobot, which is the biggest thing. And I'm going to blast doing that. So I'm trying this new thing where I'm not trying to buy the games as soon as they come out. I'm trying to purchase the game, beat a game I purchased already before I start purchasing more games.
Rob, you're MVP for doing that. You are absolute MVP for doing that. Because that's what I tell people all the time. Don't buy a game until you are done with the previous one.
So hard.
There's going to be people that think I'm attacking them, but it's so simple. It's so simple.
No, it's not. Otherwise... It's not so simple. It's not. Because you want to play them all. You want to play them all, so.
That's like an entire... No, I understand. I do. But... yeah, I mean, just finish freaking Astrobot. I saw your PlayStation tier list thing and your Xbox tier list thing, and I think it was you or Kel, I can't remember which, but one of you guys put that thing in like the S tier, I think, and it deserves it. Yeah, it deserves it. It's great. And actually, fun fact about that, I agreed with your PlayStation tier list more, and I agree with Kel's Xbox playlist more.
My Xbox tier list is so bad, by the way. I knew, I was like, as soon as we were done recording, I was like, I'm so in the wrong. People are going to tear me apart. And it's okay. It's okay. And that's the fun of it, right? So just for reference, spoiler, I put Pal World as an S tier game for Xbox. So that just kind of tells you something.
That's what I knew. That's what I knew.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, anything you're playing, like I understand the metaphor thing. So you're hitting Astrobot. You're still working on that. And metaphor is a daunting. Don't get, of all the games you could buy and not be ready to play, do not touch an Atlas game. You are the one that started Persona 3 Reload, and you never went back to it.
I never. Yeah, exactly. But I do love this game. This is way more my speed as far as like the Atlas games. I beat the demo, and again, I'm just trying to. I know what the time committed is for that game. I also want to try Silent Hill. That came out. Like that's another one I want to try, but then I'm like, that's another thing. Dragon Ball Z. I want to buy that so bad. There's so many times where I was like, let me just buy it. And I'm like,
insane.
Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. Yeah. Makes me mad.
October is really like we talked about how 2023 was going to be like the craziest year ever, and 2024 was not that. It's October. Like October is the most insane month. Chat, let me know if you agree or disagree. But like, not enough coffee. I have a backlog of games going back 10 years. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But this month alone, you have like so many. Yeah, I'm working my way through Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I don't know if you know
Oh my god, that's such a treat. Yeah. Good for you, man. That's such a great game.
It is. That's a good way to put it. It is a treat. I don't think it's anything fantastic, but it's like it's a very nice 8 out of 10 game is the way I put it. It's like it's just very much pleasing me throughout, but not like, oh my god, this is amazing kind of a thing. Yeah. So,
yeah, it just does what it's supposed to. It's just what it's supposed to be. That's all it does, and it's great for that.
Yeah. So, chat, you be part of this stream by making sure you chat with us on the side. I know Rob and I are going to be in this show together, doing our thing, talking about a couple news stories, as well as a big speculation time topic, which is also the thumbnail of the stream, being former head of PlayStation has some worries about where gaming is kind of going forward, and that's why it's kind of a bigger topic that I wanted to bounce around with you with. You can be part of the stream by talking during it, and also shout out to Steffi, Capone, Giselle, Fox, and other high-tier patrons, as well as every other Patreon for supporting the show. I very much appreciate you guys, and without further ado, I just kind of want to dive into it with Sir Rob. The first topic we're going to hit is there was once a Halo Battle Royale. There was so many rumors about as somebody that does follow as somebody that is a huge Halo fan and has been following it for ages, you know, I got so much. I was an advocate for a Halo Battle Royale being a great idea for the franchise, personally, just as a mode, not as a game replacement, but as a mode. And Certain Affinity was working on something with over 100 people to expand Halo Infinite. We didn't know what it was. There was a lot of rumors about Project Tatanka or whatever, and a lot of rumors saying it was a battle royale, but nothing flat out confirmed. Well, turns out that I believe it was through LinkedIn profiles. I will see if I can pull it up on the stream here. But basically, Certain Affinity confirmed it. Here you go. I'm going to put this on the stream. Rob, you won't be able to see it, but Halo Infinite Battle Royale was real and could have been a game changer, the developer says. So according to like the LinkedIn for Certain Affinity developer, which again, there was like 100 people working on something for Halo Infinite, I led a large team of designers working on a canceled Battle Royale mode for Halo, Klopper said. I believe this product could have been a game changer for the franchise. We loved playing it, and working on it was a fantastic experience in spite of its cancellation. Rob, I want to know, what do you agree with that statement that a Battle Royale expansion, not its own standalone, but an expansion Halo Infinite would have been a game changer? And if not, did it have to be a standalone game?
So it's funny, if Kelvin was here, he would be screaming from the rooftops saying yes, 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 yes. But I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a little more on the centralist side of things, where yes and no. And I say it because it needs to be implemented in a way. You can't just like plug in a battle royale and just like hope for the best that it's just going to automatically take off, right? You have to have certain things that make it unique and make it feel Halo. If they would have released, I think, the battle royale sooner than later, it would have boded a lot better for Halo Infinite. I think by the time they might have released it, it might have been a little too late, because the battle royale train has kind of came and gone, right? It's not the biggest like thing anymore, right? As far as like, we still have Warzone, we still have Fortnite, but those are the games that or Apex is the other one, right? All the other ones kind of fall off. I'm not saying that Halo can't do it, but I don't think it's the savior that Halo needed per se. I don't know if you agree or you disagree, but it's really hard to say. But I want to say yes, with the caveat that it would still need to have that it factor to carry it on. You can't just slap a battle royale and hope for the best.
If so, and to continue that, as you know, the hardcore Halo fan, like I think if it was a standalone game, then I agree with you. If this was supposed to be an Apex, a PUBG, so on, and Certain Affinity, it wasn't an expansion to Halo Infinite, then yes, there has to be something about it that makes it stand out. And the reports, not even the reports actually, this was actually official, that Certain Affinity did say that we are working on something for Halo Infinite. That was the official words at the start. And that's why it got me excited. Because if it's just an expansion to Infinite, if it's just going to be a part of it, then you have so many other things you could do. And I would potentially argue the gameplay of Infinite, the gameplay of Halo alone is so powerful. Like almost that it factor could just be it being Halo, where there's vehicles everywhere. And not just regular human vehicles. There's like all these kinds of Halo vehicles. There's certain sandbox weapon types. There's equipment, and you have shields instead of just bam, you're dead when you get shot, like Call of Duty style. Like Halo itself is almost that thing. And so that's why I was an advocate for it being a mode. And I admit, I'm a little bit bummed out to hear that it was a thing and it got canceled.
Yeah.
And alongside, I think there were plans. This is a reportedly, not official thing, but a reportedly.
Right.
There was plans for Infinite, like to have campaign DLC expansions. Apparently that was in the works too. That got canceled. There was a lot of stuff for Infinite canceled, but now this is one that we have like an official confirmation. That's what we're doing with these over 100 people. And yeah, Not Enough Coffee saying apparently there was also a possible Helldivers-like Halo game that we didn't get. Not Enough Coffee, I heard about that, and it's more so like it was a idea of a game that one of the people had there, and then a lot of people's ideas just didn't get on the table. That's supposedly what's being said, but who knows? And C2, I think the only people that would play that are the people already playing Infinite. And Rob, that's what I defer to you, is like, would a battle royale have brought you back? Would a battle royale have brought Kelvin back?
I don't think it would have. Yes. To answer your question, 100%. Yeah. If Halo was like, we're doing a battle royale, like full fledged, you're dropping in, you're doing the whole thing. Yes, I'm in there. My
at least to try it
worry, my worry is the longevity of what it would be. Right. That's my whole thing. Would it be a week? Would it be 2 weeks? Would it be 3 weeks? Everyone's like super hyped up about playing this new game mode / like expansion, and then just drop off, right? That's what I'm not confident in. Is the reason why, Call of Duty and Fortnite are they do it so well is because they're constantly pushing out content. I know later Infinite was better at that, but I don't know if we could trust them to continue to push out that content for the battle royale. because the battle royale has to be constantly evolving, and that's what keeps it in place. It is a live service model in a sense, right? So you'd have to go into there. Also, the very gameplay of Halo is not very battle royale like, right? You have the shield, you respawn, right? It's just like
it was
it's almost
built as kind of an arena shooter.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird.
There
how,
is like I want to shout out the Forge Falcons because Rob, have you ever heard of that name?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they're making some awesome stuff. Like they are some of the people that are carrying Halo Infinite, honestly, and they made a dope actual like battle royale like thing where literally the map shrinks in. There's a gulag when you die. You like can fight for your way back,
That's
and
cool.
if you kill, like there's also because like NPCs and AI are in the game, you can like kill them and earn points to like get certain things. Like it is a dope mode. Obviously, it doesn't look like it has that polish because like a developer thing because it's forged. But for a Forge effort, it's great. And I kind of wish it was in matchmaking, kind of just like how they just added Survive the Undead, which is kind of basically a Call of Duty Zombies mode. And I think it's a perma playlist. Correct me if I'm wrong. C2, not enough coffee, anybody watching? But I'm happy because that was a mode that they made that is now just part of the playlist. And I hope they even did like a tweet that I should have got for this stream. That's like, oh, so that Battle Royale is canceled, huh? You want to talk Halo? And it's like they're basically saying, hey, add our Battle Royale to the playlist. And I'm down, dude. But yeah, because I just think Battle Royale is a cool mode, but I don't want that to be only what Halo is. But
yeah, do you think that it would turn into that if that was the case where, say, to take off, it would just completely change, and then people would just expect it all the time.
Essentially,
it would just turn into that if it was super successful, right? It's weird because you have Call of Duty it can have multiplayer and it can have battle royale, and they kind of what they call it Warzone, and like they kind of coexist within each other. It's not like one player like they don't really lose out. Whereas I feel like I don't know if Halo could coexist with a battle royale with the regular multiplayer.
I think it was they even had a mode like that at the I think season 2. That was their main thing.
Yeah.
There was like it was called Last Man Standing or something, and it was
their
answer.
You have like 3 lives, something like that.
3 to 5. Yeah. But it was their answer to it, and I was like, I like this. Keep this around for us free for all people. I think this is really cool. And then they got rid of it and never came back. So it's like, I think a battle royale again. Like I just as a Halo guy, I would want it to be just a mode. That's all. It's there with Capture the Flag. It's there with Team Slayer. It's there with Warzone. Shout out. That's a Halo 5 mode only so far. But it's just there with all these other modes and add back Griffball, and Halo Infinite. I need to cut myself off here because I could go on about it, but it seemed like a game that could potentially just be a community driven game, and I think that a battle royale mode, they could start it. And then the community can expand upon it once they have the Forge tools and or mess with scriptings, and it's like they could just keep on going just like they do with Team Slayer and everything. I think that'd be really cool. And that's why I'm like, shout out to Forge Falcons. But will they do it in the next one though, Rob? Whatever they got cooking next, do you think the Battle Royale is like completely abandoned?
I mean, they went through all that effort of like creating all this stuff, this awesome stuff. Assets for this. I don't see them throwing that down the drain. I don't see them just getting rid of all that stuff, right? And scrapping all that. I think there will be some form of it. There's gotta be, right? And people ask for it, right? People do ask for these things. So the community wants it. They would have never started developing this thing if people didn't want it. And clearly people still want it. So why not? Why not? You know what I mean? Like make Halo this great, huge thing. I think that's what it needs. It needs to be like this big, huge community, like you said, where like the community can go in and update these things. It's just that good of a brand, right? It just has that much power. Think about it. If you're dropping in with your boys, but you're like ODST style, oh, that would be so sick coming out of your
so cool. Which, by the way, like next Call of Duty Black Ops 6 isn't the only thing coming out next Friday, but they have basically those same people, Forge Falcons. They made like a Helldivers like game within Halo Infinite, which is insane.
See?
And,
It's wild.
and yeah, that's the idea, is that your ODSTs, you drop into an operation and you fall down the pods and everything, and they're doing the Lord's work, man. And
They are.
One more message from C2. The thing about battle royales is you need to be able to pull players off of different battle royales and that they play year round, which, yeah, that's the hard part, is being able to pull them away. That's the hard part for any multiplayer, period. But yeah, battle royales especially, because people are so rooted in them. So maybe that earlier message is right, that like this would just primarily be for the Halo players. We'll see. I don't know. But I did tease to keep things moving. And by the way, actually, I'm going to save that for the good game at the end. So okay. Chat, a passive game that's happening is there's 3 news topics we're going over. Which one did Rob? Love you, Rob. Which one did Rob choose? Which one did I choose? And which one did the community choose? The community one, you guys can kind of cheat if you just look at the community tab. But the second topic that I want to bring up is, I teased next Friday that not only is this Helldivers game coming to Halo Infinite, but so is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. And I just... The reason... I'm going to spoil it. I was not the Halo subject. This was my topic that I chose. And the reason is because I think people are really underestimating the stakes that's about to happen next Friday when Call of Duty Black Ops 6 comes out. Whether you're a Call of Duty person or not, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a Call of Duty person. Rob, are you much of a Call of Duty person?
That is so funny you asked that.
Oh, no.
Literally was in I was in a text with a bunch of buddies in a group chat. And a Call of Duty, I was watching football, and a Call of Duty commercial comes by. And immediately, my friend texts me, he's like, I hate Call of Duty. Every time I see a commercial, it makes me want it, even though I don't want it. And then Kelvin goes, we dropping, boys? And we're like, yep, we have no choice. So we're going to get it. We're going to get it whether we like it or not.
But, okay, so we're going to come back to that because I have a question on that. But my thing that I wanted to bring this up about is there is, if there's news attached to this, it's that there was an earlier announcement this week that not only is Black Ops 6 is going to be coming to Xbox Cloud Gaming, remember Cloud? That's a thing, but also 2 other games. So I'm pulling up for the viewers. This is from The Verge, Tom Warren, Lord and Savior. I don't know if you feel the same way, but 3 Call of Duty games are coming to Xbox Cloud Gaming on October 25th. And, of course, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be available day 1 on Xbox Cloud Gaming later this month alongside it. And the 3 games, basically, that are going to be coming to Xbox Cloud Gaming, which last week there was some news about that. Was that last week? That you're basically going to be able to finally, like, they're going much more in on cloud gaming because this court case closed with Google, whatever, so now they can really hop on that mobile stuff. And part of this is Microsoft is hopping in by saying they're bringing Black Ops 6, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and Call of Duty Warzone to Xbox Cloud Gaming later this month. This means Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be playable on Xbox Cloud Gaming on October 25th, with Warzone and Modern Warfare 3 cloud support also getting enabled on the same day. And the reason I want to bring this up is I am not a Call of Duty person. But you know what I am? I am an Xbox guy.
You're an Xbox guy.
And I'm not an Xbox guy out of tribalism or fan wars or anything. I am that because the better Xbox does, the more competitors have to buckle up and get down on it. And the thing about this moment is that I'm going to lay some stuff out, Rob. Because this is why.
Lay it out.
Xbox lost Tango Gameworks. They laid off thousands of people. If you didn't know, supposedly there was a couple projects in the works at the Coalition. Now they're down to just E-Day. We just talked about how Halo Infinite lost its Battle Royale mode. I would argue all these things happening to Xbox is because they had to pay $70 billion to get Activision Blizzard King. Obviously, there's more to it than that, sure, but it's like when you spend that much money, you're going to have to make compensations elsewhere. And so they brought on so many workers, and that's how a lot of this happened. And I see AP saying they also hired a lot as well and creating more studios. Yeah, like they're diversifying, they're adding more. They have a new studio at Activision, Toys for Bob left. Like there's been all this reorganizing. And I would argue not only was it for the King factor that a lot of people aren't talking about, it was for Call of Duty. And that's what the whole court case was about. All PlayStation would ever mention is Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. And this is the moment. This is the moment that we're about to see the next Call of Duty game, which I guarantee you, or maybe, if it's not, this is why I think there's a conversation to have here. Is this Call of Duty going to sell as well as previous ones? The previous ones always being like the top 10 of the year. It's going to be a day one on Game Pass. It's going to be available on cloud. It's primarily marketing through Xbox rather than PlayStation. Rob, apparently you had a buddy that saw it on TV. And I guess maybe that's the first thing I want to say is like, how do you have any thoughts about like how big this Call of Duty could be compared to others? Do you think like the Game Pass thing affects it, or other things, having that developer direct, like what?
It's funny. I'm actually really excited to talk about this topic because it's actually the one I was probably looking most forward to. There's a lot to digest here, but I think all of the things that went into the Activision Blizzard deal, right, is coming to an ultimate head now. I think Call of Duty is the one where it's like, this is why we did it. Not Starfield. Starfield was great. Don't get me wrong. It was a fantastic. But Call of Duty, what's going to happen? There are going to be so many new subscribers to Game Pass. So many.
You think so?
Notice,
okay.
They got rid of the $1, the free trial $1 thing. I think it was like 2 weeks. They got rid of that. Yeah.
Good job. Yep.
So, Xbox knows they're about to get a ton of Game Pass subscribers. Now, Call of Duty is a type of game that people aren't gonna cancel their subscription because it's attached to their subscription. They're not gonna. So, say I'm playing Call of Duty for 6 months. I'm not going to want to cancel my subscription because then I got to buy Call of Duty again for $60. I don't really want to do that. But then at the same time, Xbox is going to be releasing so many more things for Game Pass in the next couple of months. So like, why would you ever cancel your game set?
Well. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So for me, this is such a huge win for them that you have this humongous title. It's going to get you so many people into your network. And for whatever reason, and guys just like me, I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan. Like I'm not waiting midnight for it to launch and pick it up. But guess what I'm doing? I'm going to resub on my Game Pass subscription and play it, right? Because it's $20 a month. $20 a month or $60-$70 right now. I'm just going to try it out for $20. Maybe I don't want to stick with it for the next, but guess what? I'm going to probably stick with it because
So you're answering what I was teasing out earlier, which was like, I want to come back to that because you guys said like, are we dropping in? And I'm like, but how are you guys dropping in? You guys are going to use the Game Pass method? Or is somebody like, I just want to buy it on my PlayStation, or I just want to buy it on Steam or something?
I think most people now are going to do the Game Pass. I think. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
I keep referring because I think it's a significant moment, and you guys know, the people watching Not Enough Coffee, AP Supertone, or anybody that's watched me for a long time, you know how much I love Josh from Quest Mode. He was like my first big collab ever, or most frequent collabor. But he had a moment a few weeks back that he was like Indiana Jones was his most anticipated game this year. But when he found out it was coming to PlayStation, he's like, I'm actually going to wait a few months because I want my trophies and I'm willing to buy it on PlayStation. And when he said that, it made me like realize, even if Game Pass is a thing, a lot of people just I have a friend that loves Atlas games. He loves Persona, and he still bought Persona 3 Reload on PlayStation, even though he has a Series S that he could have played it with Game Pass. What was this? What was that?
No,
was that you too?
No, I'm saying that's perfect. And there's people that are going to do that. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to do that, right? And I'm not knocking. I'm not saying like, oh, no one does that. Like, of course, like if you want to like own the game. If you love that game, like 100% do it. Like, for example, Metaphor Race Fantasio that I want to get, I would buy that. I'm going to buy that game instead of if it was on Game Pass from I would just purchase it because I want to play it on PlayStation, right? So there's preferences still to be had. But for a game like that, it's just a perfect place for it, in my opinion. It's just the way I think about it is like they're literally doing the WoW thing, right? With Call of Duty. It's like they want to turn WoW into a subscription model where you're basically making Call of Duty, you're subscribing to it essentially $20 a month. You get you get to play your Call of Duty, you get Call of Duty, you get Warzone, you get Modern Warfare 3, you get all these things, right? And it's not just that, it's all of our catalog. Which to me, this is crazy, man. This is the most excited I've been for Game Pass in a while, because this is for me. This is next to, I think, Diablo 4 being on Game Pass. This is the next biggest title to hit it.
Well, no, and that's a really good point. Is that like, thank you, Steffi, by the way, I appreciate that. She was saying your voice is louder than me.
Oh, sorry,
I was appreciating when you guys are looking out. No, that's on my end. But I was gonna say that is that like, because there was another topic in my list of things I wanted to hit this week, but it's like one of the things that happened in the past few days is a year has passed since Activision Blizzard King closed, and this is the first day one game we have gotten from that transaction. Us, the consumers, like, things have come to Game Pass. We've gotten the Crash Bandicoot remake trilogy, whatever. We got Diablo 4, as you said. StarCraft is going to come next month, the PC. But it's like, no day one things, no huge catalog. We, the consumers, haven't really benefited from it. I don't know, like, they're piecemealing that out, dude. I don't know. And so this moment, I think something you said is like, so let me address what I personally think, because you think you think this is going to significantly boost Game Pass numbers.
Yes.
Okay. So
quite a bit.
We're going to have a conversation in a moment about Shawn Layden and certain quotes. He was the former PlayStation boss, and he had a certain statement that he said where it's like, we kind of have reached as many people as we can, and if there's a bump in profits, it's because the people that are already here are spending more. So that's a slight spoiler to a coming conversation. And with that in mind, I'm like, are people so entrenched? Are people going to subscribe? I think yes. That's what happened with Starfield. They said when Starfield came out, there is actual like quotes that like, this is the most new subs we've had in one day. So yeah, they're going to get a bump. But if it's not a big enough bump, I think there's cause to be worried. I don't want to be a doom monger. I don't want to spread fear, but it's just like, this is what they did it for.
Yeah.
They did it for the sales that they get. They did it for the sales that they're getting on PlayStation and on Steam. You know, they're going to get tons of sales on it. And yeah, it'll boost the Game Pass subs a bit. But if it doesn't boost it a lot, I think that they'll like hesitate on how they do day ones going forward or something. And I don't want that to happen. Like, so
what title has this type of weight, especially in the Xbox?
I was thinking that. I'm like, I can only think like, well, even just in general, like I'm like Pokemon, Harry Potter, and GTA and Minecraft. That's it. but
I'm saying Xbox wise, like there's no other game
there's
no
that would be Xbox title with this much weight. I would love to see the chat disagree. There's no Xbox owned IP that has this much weight. No question. So that's what I mean.
To get you on Game Pass. Exactly. To get you. I mean, I would like to see how many people subscribed to Game Pass when Infinite came out. I would like to see that bump in numbers, because that would be the most.
See, there's a whole thing though about that, like, because I think everybody that would have subscribed for Halo already had Game Pass personally, because I think the hardcore Xbox peeps already have Game Pass. I have a feeling. Like there's levels of like Xbox fandom or whatever, or just, users. And I think no matter what, they're all good. The hardcores are all going to have Game Pass, and the hardcores, they know Halo is the face. And so I wonder how many new, and plus Halo's multiplayer went free to play too. So it's like, that was a really tricky situation that Game Pass just gave you the campaign, which cool still, but
yeah. Okay, good point.
Yeah, so I don't know. And I wonder if the cloud gaming thing, that's maybe my last question is, do you think like this also being a Call of Duty that's not only launching day one on a Game Pass, but it's also like alongside Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, this trio is going to be a cloud gaming thing? Do you think like that also is going to do much, or?
I'm going to be honest with you.
It's a shooter.
No, because like you're playing these games for like the graphical fidelity and make it to play pretty, like it's clunky. No matter what you say, like cloud gaming right now is clunky. So like if I'm playing multiplayer on cloud gaming or Warzone on cloud gaming, it's not going to be a good experience. It might be okay. It might be okay, but I don't think it's enough for me to be like, I can play natively or I could play on my cloud. I think I'm just going to play Call of Duty natively. Now, what is the one benefit to playing on the cloud, especially for this game? That those games are so big file wise, they take up so much data. Oh,
that's a good shout! That's a good shout!
The fact that like, I know this takes up no data, I can still play Call of Duty. Okay, great. Like,
oh, that's a good shout, Rob. That's a really good shout.
That's the benefit for cloud gaming right there for it.
Oh my God, Warzone. Dude, I didn't even think of that. That's a really good shout.
Crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
600 gigs of data right there for those 3 games.
Straight up. Well, and I think it's confusing too. Like, I don't want to sidetrack too much, but yeah, Call of Duty, I think it's like it's a whole suite basically, and that's how you play them all. I don't know how it works.
I don't know. I don't know the exact gigs, but it's an absurd amount of
yeah.
Yeah.
One message I'll read before moving on. C2DD. I think PlayStation COD fans will buy it on PlayStation. PC fans that aren't subscribed to Game Pass, in my opinion, just aren't interested in what it has to offer, and they'll just buy COD as well. And that's what I mean. Yeah, C2. Like, that's kind of where I'm not quite at, but it's where my caution is the way I'll put it. Is that, like, I just feel like people are so entrenched that they'll just play it where they want to play it.
Yeah.
And regardless of cloud and Game Pass and stuff. But I'll tell you what, Xbox is still going to get the sales of it. So which is still good, like that's what they want. They want the money, but they also, I can't imagine. I think this is no matter what going to be a win. At least I hope it is for them. Of just, you're going to get a bump in Game Pass numbers, maybe not quite as much you wanted, but you're going to get a shit ton of sales also. So it's a win-win, hopefully. I just want it to be enough of a win for them to continue doing day ones. That's what I'm saying.
I do have to say, for Xbox, the entry point for you to be able to play Call of Duty is very, very easy, right? Like, you have the Series S still, and it can still play decent amount of games. So, like, this holiday season, if you want to get someone a console, you get them a Series S, you buy them a Game Pass subscription Ultimate, they got Call of Duty right then and there. Everything's all set and ready to go. Like, you don't have to figure out what game should I get them, stuff like that. It's just like, just get them the Game Pass subscription and they're good to go, with a Series S. And that's not going to cost an arm and a leg for someone, right? How much is Series S right now? Like $200, $300 for Series S?
Yeah. You could, it's 300, but there's a lot of times that there's a good deal for it for like 200, 250 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see a decent. I would imagine we hopefully see a decent increase in hardware sales for Xbox as well because of Call of Duty.
Speaking of Xbox, because I want to talk about that long live long day, but the third topic is, what was your highlights to the Xbox partner preview? So yeah, the Xbox partner preview happened, and somehow this has just kind of become an Xbox thing with the 3 topics chosen. Believe me, there was PlayStation things about Astrobot, there was IO Interactive, there was stuff. So it just so happened like this, gang, between Halo, Call of Duty, and now the Xbox partner preview. But That happened yesterday. I live streamed my reaction. I gave some first impressions, but now that the dust is settled, as for me, for the chat, and for maybe Rob, I want to just basically shout out what are a couple of our key highlights. And I'll kind of scroll through on the screen here for live viewers. Everything announced at Microsoft's Xbox Partner Preview. And I should actually just find the screenshot of what happened at the end, but you got Alan Wake 2, The Lake House, Chronos The New Dawn, Bloober Team's new game, Blind Fire, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Mouse PI for Hire, Subnautica 2, Animal Well, Eden Zero, not Fairy Tale, Eternal Strands, Mistfall Hunter, Wheel World, Phasmophobia, yay, The Legend of Babu, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, and FBC Firebreak, to which this show opened and closed with Remedy. Rob, I want to know how you feel about that first. How did it feel to maybe, like, whether you watched it or not, the idea that Remedy both opened and closed this Xbox Partner Preview?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the first announcement for Alan Wake 2 Lake House was expected, as far as, like, you know what you're getting. It actually looks freaking really scary. But then they kind of did a switch up with the last game, which was pretty interesting, with Firebreak, that it's taking place within the Federal Bureau of Control. I think that's really cool that they're kind of making a world out of it, in a sense, like almost making like an overworld of this whole universe. They're really trying to, like, make this into something. I don't know what it is, but they're making this into like this whole world of this, like, our catalog of all these Remedy games, but they're all connected. I think
that
it's
is pretty cool. Yeah, that they just have like this shared everybody. Yeah, and it's funny because I like one of my best friends, if not my best friend, he's a huge Control fan, and I literally I sent him a voice message during the stream, and I'm just like, look up FDC Firebreak, suck my dick, whatever. and I'm just like, I just wanted to know his reaction. And it's funny because he's just like, I'm interested in the Control lore, but the gameplay might not be my thing. But then it's a Game Pass get.
3 players? Come on, three
players. You, me, and Kel. You, me, and Kel.
I'd be down. It looks interesting. It looks varied enough to where, like, I'd pick it up and try it. So it's on Game Pass.
Exactly. And that's kind of a neat get, is that the next Remedy game is a Game Pass get, which is multiplayer. And I think that's why they did it personally. They wouldn't do, like, I mean, maybe eventually Alan Wake 2, whatever. But I think on a personal level, I just think it's really neat that Remedy sandwiched this show, that they started off and they end it. And that's just really cool. Like, shout out to Remedy, and they're making the dang thing work. I do want to shout out Steffi in the chat. She's like, I haven't played it, but I'm happy for Subnautica fans. Seeing more of Wu Chang was my favorite moment. And C2 also mentioning Subnautica has to be the highlight, even without gameplay. Rob, I haven't played Subnautica. Have you?
Yes, I've played it. Yes. Haven't beat it. Beat it. But
Remind me, which of you, between you and Kel, for those that never met Rob, Kel is his dynamic duo from the gaming duo. Which of you two is more the scaredy cat? I think it's Kel. It's
me.
You. Oh, okay.
It's me.
Okay.
It's me.
I just remember there was like one that was clearly more baby than the other. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So, is Subnautica tolerable, or was it not? And then you stopped it.
No. Subnautica doesn't scare me, like that kind of, like, claustrophobic, like, kind of like you're in the water, and that never really bothered me. So yeah, that's whatever. It's more of like the horror, scary, like monsters and things popping out,
something Jason to kill you.
Yeah, that's the stuff that gets me. Subnautica is more of just like, I'm the ocean. Like, the ocean doesn't really scare me, even though I wouldn't. It does.
The ocean talks. I'm the ocean. Fear me.
But this is really freaking cool. Like, for Subnautica fans, like, this is such a freaking cool announcement. Honestly, like, that is such a cool game.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that's another Game Pass get too. Like, there was 15 games announced, and 5 of them were Game Pass gets, which we knew about 2 or 3 of them, I think. But the sequel Subnautica early access, you get to play it with Game Pass, which is cool. I've never touched it. I've heard many people, like, they've heard that Outer Wilds is, like, one of my all-time favorite games, and people have said, oh, if you like Outer Wilds, you should try out Subnautica, just similar atmosphere maybe, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't like the idea of being underwater. So but then again, I didn't like the idea of being in space, and that game became one of my favorites. So
yeah,
you never know. But I want to know maybe like what was a like game to you? Like what was the most like this just kind of breezed me by game?
It's hard to say what was the most game because a lot of it was really
because
good.
You don't remember it.
No, I think a lot of it was really good. I mean, maybe Eternal Shards, like that one looks okay to me. That didn't really do a ton. Wheel World didn't do a ton for me. But
yeah,
overall,
Eternal Strands, that one too for me, that just it kind of just looked like it was there. That alongside like I think that one and Mistfall kind of, but mostly just because it felt like it was I don't know, like it kind of just, you know what I mean? Like it's just like I've seen this before type deal. But I don't know.
Yeah, that one's tough because it does look really, really cool, but there is something that it's like, I don't want to say it's almost like copycat like, but you're almost like, this looks like too many things that I've seen enough of, and I don't know how original you are, right? Like as far as
I will defend something about it though. It says it's an excuse me, a Souls-like extraction game. I'm curious about the extraction part. What does that mean, and how do you mix that alongside Souls-like? So I guess that's interesting, but in terms of the aesthetic and gameplay style, I'm like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I like the gore, I'll be honest with you. I like how like the gore. I think it's pretty cool. Like having, it looks cool. I'm gonna say this one wasn't like super ed. This one was like on the edge of it was good. It's like right on the border for me.
I think what you think of Bloober Team's new game with like Chrono's New Dawn? As like a fellow not into horror games person, maybe, because when I saw that, I'm like, I don't know what to make out of this, but then like they attach gameplay to the end, and I'm like, thank you for giving us an idea, and I don't know what to make of it, but that's cool. They're making their own a new original thing. I always appreciate when studios try that out.
I think it looks really freaking cool. Like, I love the suit that the guy's wearing. I really do. But at the same time, it didn't strike, like when I watched the gameplay, it didn't really like freak me out that much. Cause just like the way he was like, cause like automatically if I have a gun, like I feel okay. I feel like I'm going to be fine. But like you're in this big hulking suit and you have a gun and there's monsters around you. I wasn't really scared. It just looked really pretty and cool. So I'm going to watch this game for sure. I'm definitely going to be, it says here, it features playing chess with a bloody science fiction looking monster hunter.
He's a hunter. I got that feeling, and I will say that was the one aesthetic I dug of it, is that like I don't know what's happening in this trailer, but I just got that vibe that I'm like, I feel like this isn't a survival horror. This feels like it's a horror game that I am purposely putting myself in the horror, but it's still going to be intense. Like, I don't, just the way he suited up, he even like playing chess with the old lady, and I think at the end it almost insinuates that he's going to kill her or something. I'm like, I don't know who this person you are playing as, but that intrigues me. That's the main thing that intrigues me, is like, is this a horror? Or but hearing Hunter, that makes sense now. I didn't know that.
Like, is he Van Helsing basically? Like, is that what this kind of is?
I do want to give like a shout out to Runner. So this is the part that I want to know. What was your like biggest highlight or two? My runner up, like I'll just say art direction wise, is that PI mouse game.
Yeah,
I thought that's like it looks super unique, and I always like that. Mouse PI for hire, that's what it is. I just think it looks super unique, and just the reading here, it looks straight out of Disney's old Mickey Mouse cartoons. The noir mystery shooter looks like it'll be available in 2025, and like, I don't know if I'll play this, but I always appreciate when a game just doesn't seem like anything else I've seen, and that's what I feel like Mouse PI in terms of like art direction and what it is. That's like honorable shout out to me, but for sure my highlight is like no question. I guess on a personal level, I was really happy about Phasmophobia because I really am into Phasmophobia, but like I'm just glad that game has a date, and that's about it because they announced this a long time ago, and so the reveal was the date. But to me, Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, I think that game looks so sick, and maybe I'm curious if it tingled your jingles, Rob. I'm still using that phrase. I know that gets you every time.
Who said that? Was it you? Was it you that just like said it at one time?
You know where I got it from? There was this video. If anybody knows this, Oni cartoons, yeah. And there's a video of like just Dragon Ball Z, and Vegeta goes, a true Saiyan always sprinkles when he tinkles. And I think just ever since I heard that, I just like to say sprinkles my tinkles or something. But I think Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers looks like it's just like an action game that I am excited to play with Game Pass, because Wukong looks awesome too, and people are probably getting their fix. Rob, you've played Wukong, and it's like, right? I know Kel played it, but were you playing? Yeah, okay. And it's like maybe you have your fix because of that, but I haven't had that fix in a while. So it's like, and I'm more the Game Pass guy than the Xbox guy, honestly. So I'm very excited for Wu-Chang. I think the action in it looks sick. I don't know if you have any thoughts on Wu-Chang, but that's definitely my highlight.
This game looks absolutely... It just looks like a combination of things that I love, right? It reminds me of Onimusha. I'm saying that wrong, so wrong, but it's an old PS2 game. You were like demon hunters, you're demon slayers. Onimusha, I think it's called. Yeah. So it reminds me of that. It reminds me of a little bit of Devil May Cry's in there, right? Just a tiny bit. Mm-hmm. You got some Souls like in there. You got some Wukong in there. Like there's so much, and the colors. There's so much colors happening, and that's what I love.
Dude, the colors are so good. Yeah, I think the thing that got me is like she uses so many different styles of combat. That's what I love. She uses so many different styles. You see her with like 2 lightning blades. You see her even at one point kind of like a flower caster. You see her like all ranges, and there's so many different colors to the style she uses. It's sorry.
Yeah. See, like it's like this game, I'm more excited for this type of game than like I was for Stellar Blade. I don't know if you remember Stellar Blade, but like
I'm curious, why is that?
Again, I think I like the way that this gameplay is laid out more. There's more variation. There's more colors. The boss fights look like they're all huge. They're all different. And I love when games really highlight the different weapon types or different abilities really well. And this is what it's doing. It's like you could tell like she used the purple and it was an electric bow. She used those 2 blades. She used the flame blade.
Did you catch that she had like a Gatling gun?
I didn't see the Gatling gun. I don't think I caught that.
She does.
But
it's like her staff, and it goes like. It seems like it's a Gatling gun.
Yeah, this looks, and there's like magic too. Like there's even like this big flower thing that comes out. It's like a big AOE attack, and then she's got wings at some point. Like there's so many different like. It looks so
variety,
cool. Like,
man. Variety's great.
She's fighting this woman, but she turned into like an ice wolf, and it like charged at her. So cool. It's cool. It's just a cool game.
Yeah. Was there a big shout out for you? A big shout out or a runner up?
Wu-Chang was also my highlight. And again, the PI game, that is a game that like I can just watch someone play all day. Like someone's playing on the TV, I can just like continually like watch it because it just like looks. And I have to give that game some points for like actually being like original as far as like the art style and like breaking that mold of just like it's something different than what we're used to all the time, right? Like Wu Chang, for example, is like nothing different that we've seen. Like we've seen a lot of games like this, but the PI game, like there's not a ton of games that are in that style. I mean, what was the last one? Like Cuphead, right? That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. That's like similar, like that stop motion kind of feel. But yeah, man. Overall, this partner showcase was solid. Like I'm pretty confident giving it like a B minus, just because there wasn't anything wrong with it. It got me hyped for the partner for Xbox. It did its job.
It's a job. Yeah. No, it's funny. We're at the same exact spot. Because I thought I went in with the proper expectations. Because if people were just like, oh, GTA 6 is gonna be here, are we going to get a Doom release date? And it's like, look, that's not what this is, you know. And I knew this show wasn't gonna be like, for this show to be a 9 out of 10 or an A, like they would have had to have had a couple of pretty gosh darn decent gets, but like, but I think that just throughout they had solid gets, like the Remedy things and Subnautica 2 and giving our first like big gameplay of the Hawaii Yakuza thing. And it's like there was some just solid stuff throughout. They showed the games well. They kept the pacing going, no fluff. Like I just thought it was a nice watch. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I too am like a 7 out of 10 or a B minus. Like, yeah, for sure in that B tier. But I'm definitely, if there was any disappointment, I admit when I saw Animal Well, like it's on a selfish level, but I was really hoping that Animal Well was like a Game Pass thing, because I totally thought that was on Xbox already and it wasn't. So
right, yeah, it's on PlayStation Plus. I know it is. It's because that might have something to do with it. Yeah, it's on PlayStation.
If somebody has PlayStation Plus, that's a good get. That's a good get.
I'm gonna be honest. I played it. Did you beat it?
Oh yeah. I think I remember talking about this with you.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, it's a frustrating game. Like if you don't know where to go, then you're just done. Like, yeah, it's a tough one. And Phasmophobia, I really wish that was a Game Pass get too, but it's okay.
Let's play soon, by the way. Let's get a bunch of people. Let's get a group together.
That's a good Halloween.
It's October.
It's because of Spooktober.
Yeah,
folks. I want to get to the big topic though. That is like this is a juicy one that we're gonna have to maintain what we say here. So I'm gonna be doing some reading, and Rob, I'm really curious to hear some of your thoughts on this. And it's a conversation I think we've had on your channel before. In fact, it's probably my favorite thing that I've been on your channel before, which is just kind of look up the Gaming Duo podcast, layoffs, Samurai KBG. Just type in both of our names, the Gaming Duo, Samurai KBG, layoffs. That's like my favorite conversation I think we've had that's on YouTube. It's so good. And a lot of what we might say here is in that as well, because we're trying to think of the solution to the issue that is so many gaming layoffs happening in the industry. And it turns out that pretty much the past year, the former head of PlayStation is super on this train of a bandwagon that is, hey, there's a problem and we need to address it. So I'm going to do a reading here because I want to kind of lay the stage, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be reading from Kotaku. This is from the ex-PlayStation boss, warns of death sentence for gaming. And he was basically interviewed, I believe, at Gamescom Asia. And he said, if we're just going to rely on blockbusters to get us through, I think that's a death sentence. And he goes on basically saying the ex-PlayStation executive blamed 9-figure development costs for less willingness among big publishers to take risks. The result is games getting greenlit based on how well their revenue can be modeled instead of whether they feel fun or innovative. And then Shawn goes on saying, you're looking at sequels, you're looking at copycats. Because the finance guys who draw the line say, well, if Fortnite made this much money in this amount of time, my Fortnite knockoff can make this much in that amount of time. We're seeing a collapse of creativity in games today with studio consolidation and high cost production. And he also had commentary on the $700 PS5 that essentially even a hands-on demo by The Verge, people were saying the differences were pretty hard to notice. And I'm trying to open this. So Layden said it has plateaued. We're at the stage of hardware development that I call only dogs can hear the difference. If you're playing your game and sunlight is coming through your window onto your TV, you're not going to see any ray tracing. It has to be super optimal. You have to have like an 8K monitor in a dark room to see these things. The executive said the console power chase has hit a ceiling and called for companies to compete on content rather than specs. I want to come back to that. It's time for a real hard reset on the business model, a hard reset on what it is to be a video game, he told VGC. And they kind of bring up a lot of history in this article. Like, this isn't the first time that he has sounded the alarm about this, which is true. It's funny because I was just, before the show, a couple hours ago, I was listening to his interview. Oh, I want to shout this out too. I'm going to look it up while you talk, but it's a really good, it's a new podcast that I found out about. I'm like, oh, this is great. It's all about like, how do we lessen budgets and whatnot for AAA developers? And he was on that show. And so they shout, like, there's tons of times in the past he's talked about this. And another, I don't know, like, I'm actually going to stop myself here, but there's more examples of things that maybe are doing the dang thing. But Rob, Shawn Layden, I don't know if you've heard any of this in the past. Are we at that peak in terms of hardware, graphics, and budget that, like, what do we do about it? I have more, but like, I've been reading this and I want to like get your initial reaction to that. Like, the former head of PlayStation, who dipped out very suddenly in 2019, he's saying all this stuff and he's like, something's got to happen because otherwise we're in trouble.
You know, he's right. I'm going to agree with him. He's 100% right. In an age where we have all of these remasters now of games that are not even 10 years old, it's like Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. I'm like, guys, the game just came out not that long ago. It looks beautiful still. Like, if you took that and just put it up on your PS4, it would still look good on your HD TV. It still would look. It's not going to be like, you know, ultra 60 frames per second, and you know it's going to be 40p upscaled. Like, the regular gamer doesn't care about that as much as people think they do, right? And I think that
chat, tell us if you care. I want to see them.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see if people actually care about that. But for me, I'm like, it's gotten to a point where it's becoming memes, right? We're just like doing remaster, and then when we look at like, when people do like the PlayStation State of Play, it's like, okay, what's going to be shown, and they'll literally put like remasters or this sequel to this game or this. There's nothing like new ever put there. It's always the same type of things, and it's 100% right. And the reason why is because people don't want to take risk anymore because it costs too much money to take the risk in the first place.
Yeah, because
it has to be this grand thing. It has to hit this thing. Before, you could just like kind of be like, you know what, this game is gonna make this much money, but you know, if it doesn't, okay, like, we're all right. For example, Hi-Fi Rush, awesome game, action adventure. It was amazing. People loved it. What happened? Studio closed down. Why? Because it didn't make as much money as it was supposed to, right? So that's the whole thing, man. Is that he is spot out. But then I'm gonna flip it to Nintendo. You have these guys who are able to really wring out their software or their hardware and deliver these things, and people buy them. They make so much money off of it, and I know for a fact they don't spend as much money on those budgets as these other titles do, like your Spider-Man 2s and your God of War Ragnaroks and all these huge games, you know. So there's got to be a medium somewhere, right? Of just like, I don't even know if we could go back. I don't know if these companies would want to go back. Right, I think it's up to the consumer.
That's
to be like,
a good question. Will they go back? Because like because that's the hard part. Is I think so. I will shout out in the interview. I forgot to look it up while you were talking. I'm actually gonna do it while I talk. But there was this interview that I was listening to him that he basically talks about this for a while, and the thing that he was saying is that what happened during COVID is that, and this is where I said something earlier, I think during the Black Ops part or whatever. I can't remember which part of the conversations, but what happened during COVID was it wasn't that the gaming market expanded the amount of players. It was that the gamers that already existed were looking to escape COVID, and they had nothing else to do. So gamers during that period were spending a lot more.
Yes.
And I would agree with that, and you do too. Okay. And I, because that's the thing, like we didn't really have as much work anymore. What do we like to do when we're home? We like to freaking play video games. So we're going to spend more on video games. We have to be careful about it if we're not working, you know, but when we have the time, we just talked about earlier about backlogs, that we will finally hit our backlogs if we have the time. And that's something that he talked about in this interview, that, and it's funny, actually, if I pull this up, he mentions it in the interview that he did here, where he's like, so it's a $250 billion global business, the $250 billion global business, but the actual number of players doesn't grow at the same pace. So we're getting more money from the same people. You need to get more people playing games. How do you do that? We need to get more people making games. He suggested companies look up to empower up and coming developers in growing markets like Indonesia and India. And it's funny because what happened this year? What happened just last month, I want to say? Wukong became the second most played Steam game of all time. And it was from a Chinese developer. It was, and a lot of I think there's actually data that proves this. 80% of the people on Steam that were playing it were from China.
Yep.
So I think he's onto something there, where it's like, and maybe that's what Xbox is trying to do too, where they just feel like they've plateaued how many people they reach on their console, so they're just trying to reach more people because they know that's the only way that they can keep expanding. And that's why we see PlayStation going multi-plat too somewhat, starting to get, just before the stream, an announcement came that Spider-Man 2 is coming to PC in January. I don't know if you saw that, Rob, but that's a thing. So maybe that's what he's onto as well. It's like, if you're not going to fix the budgets, you have to open up. It's what Square Enix is doing. But apparently Wukong was made for $80 million, reportedly. I looked into something else before this, and apparently people are saying that Helldivers 2, it was developed over 8 years, but it was made for like $50 million. Palworld was made by a group of people in their freaking garage, and it's like one of the biggest games of the year. And I just feel like that needs to be noted. Does it not? Like, I'll cut myself off there, but like, just what do you think of that information?
Look at Stardew Valley. One guy.
Stardew Valley.
One guy.
Stardew Valley.
One guy. And look how much that game has sold. How much money was made over that game? One guy made it.
Straight up.
I don't know what the budget was. Probably wasn't that crazy. It's the one guy.
I did a whole video about, I don't know if you know this, but like Astrobot. Did you check out that video? But like, if you didn't, whatever. But just like, they just had 60 people develop it over a couple years. 3.5 years. That's what it took them to make Astrobot, just the newest game that's like now the highest rated game of the year. I hope it sells well. We'll see. And
I think it did.
Space Marine 2, actually, even a part of this article, is Space Marine 2 the future or the exception? Because apparently, Space Marine 2, a fellow shooter, was made for like half of the budget of Doom Eternal. And apparently it is like the biggest entry of Warhammer period. So it's like, people are doing the dang thing, but how does the industry like do they ignore it, or like I don't know.
They gotta start focusing on the kind of like the micro games that they can come out with. Like, think of like how much resource it takes to create this. Can we make revenue off of something that's a little bit of a smaller scale, right? I think they're scaling up way too much now. It's just and it's so hard to top the game. You're topping the game
Right.
that was the game, right? And what's going to happen is now the next game has to be even better, and you got to put even more money into that next game because it needs to break this mold, or it needs to have and that's one thing where when we did the tier video for for God of War 2018 to God of War Ragnarok, not that big of a difference to me. Spider-Man 1.
I agree.
Sonic Spider-Man 2.
Now I want to jump in on this because I see where you're going with this, but that's also like I'm okay with that somewhat if that means we get frequent games. So like I just need to find this interview and play a snippet or something. I probably won't, but like okay, I want to shout out the channel. The channel is gameindustry.biz, and they started a podcast called GI Sprint. And it's like focusing on how to improve game development or whatever, and in this time that so many are getting laid off. And there was a part that he mentioned another thing you got to do in terms of a solution. I know, developers want to cook, but we have to have our deadlines. We have to have our goals. And if there is an idea, and this might sound, I get very brutal sometimes, but if there is an idea that you want to put in this game, but you think it will set back that timeline, save it for the next one. Let's put it in the next one. If this game does well, let's do that. And you know what game did that exact thing? Do you have a guess, Rob?
Can you give me a hint? Can you give me a little bit?
It was nominated for Game of the Year last year, and it was a sequel to one of the best games of all time. Tears of the Kingdom had some ideas that Breath of the Wild, the developers did want in Breath of the Wild, but they just knew there wasn't enough time. We're going to have to put it to the side. And you know what they did? They put it to the side. They made one of the best games of all time. And then they came out with a sequel later on. It became maybe another one of the best games of all time. And then, but the gaming resume's here. What if there isn't a next one? That's true. But then it's like, you have to think of it as a business, I think. And that's the harsh reality to me. Obviously, let artists cook. But the reality is, unless they're an indie developer that's just okay, living in their garage, doing it for ages, like Stardew you mentioned, we need to make a sale. And if it sells, then let's do all those ideas we couldn't do and then make a bigger game. But like, I could see a lot of people disagreeing with that. I don't know if, like, Rob, if you want to totally object to that, I get it. I do. I'm being the very business mind here, but it's just we got to release games because if we release 3 games every 10 years, we have 3 times the sales. But just keep making them good. I don't know.
I want to know this. I don't think Nintendo they have their problems, but I don't think Nintendo has problems like Xbox and Sony does with these huge, insane fucking talking my language, but like AAA budget titles. They just don't, right? Because they're able to keep these things where they focus on creativity, right? And like those moments of just like, oh, ooh, ah, ee, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
They really know how to make gaming,
which is so much
fun.
more important than graphics. That was another thing he said in that interview I mentioned. He's like, look, focus on the fun and innovation and creativity of it. Like, that's fine. Yeah, exactly. That's what Nintendo does.
Yeah, you don't want gaming to feel like a chore, right? You don't want it like when you're in the game, you don't want to do a thing that's a chore type of thing. You want the fun. Like that's why Astrobot has getting such great reception because the game's just pure fun. It's just fun. You're just like sitting there, like. So they got to figure it out. They got to figure out adding the fun factor again in those games and and who cares if it's cheap fun, right? It could be cheap fun. Everyone likes cheap fun.
And just. Like Gaming Resume earlier said too, that's why games from Sega Atlas, they're doing successful at 1 million sales. They're not incredibly high budget, but they're super high quality. Yeah, like that's all it is, man. Just have a definitive style, focus on making your game stand out. If it's a sequel, then how do you step it up, And I feel like Astrobot's a great example of that. Like Astrobot this year is the highest reviewed game of the year, I think, ? And it is just like that tech demo, whatever that they had, but they got to do everything that they wanted to do and make a full game out of it. And like, I think it's important to cook, but I just also think like there is ways of being more efficient about it. And I think that's what Shawn Layden's trying to get at here, is like figuring out how do we do that, and how do we expand the market? Because another reason Nintendo's killing it is because they have over 100 million people on their market with the Switch. That's why. That's freaking why. So how do you expand the market?
And they have such different experiences on the Switch. Like all the different games are completely different experiences and different flavors, and it's so easy. The entry point is so easy because it's just, I'm just gonna pick up my Switch and play. I can play in bed. I can play on the big TV. I want to get my family and kids included. I can get my family and kids included. Didn't the new Mario game come out, Jamboree, and it got reviewed really well, by the way?
Yeah. I think it's like high 80s.
Yeah. But yeah, they got it figured out, man. They really do. Again, they're not perfect. They got their issues, but for the most part, they kind of have a timeless formula when it comes to that. As far as like the way, well, that's the other. Let me flip it on you. People crave Nintendo to be more AAA. Sometimes they're like, we want like you guys to be bigger and like more open world and have all these things. But at the end of the day, it's like, do we want that? Do you actually want them to do that? Because look what happens when they do that.
I admit that's tough. I don't think it's worth it. I think that's what I'll say. I don't think it's worth it. That's actually a perfect way to summarize my opinion on that. Is that, do I want that? Yes. I'm with Steffi. I just want games to be fun though. And as long as they're fun, I'm okay with Halo Infinite. Like Halo's in a problem right now where relevance is the biggest issue, in my opinion. They went from releasing a Halo game every 3 years or less to now one game over the course of 6 years and nothing we know of next, other than just things are happening. And I will fully accept just taking a Halo campaign every couple years instead of having some big ass package that takes 6 or 8 years. I am totally on that train. I could see the debate though, like a freaking, like let's make a Zelda game that Link can literally just fly all across the planet, Microsoft Flight Simulator with Unreal 5 engine graphics or whatever, but it's going to take us 10 years to make. I want 3 Zelda games instead of that. I just do.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think most people will be in your camp of like you're going to take the 3 Zelda games 100%.
Yeah. And just and if they're a sequel, you know, like that's my issue with Tears of the Kingdom personally. I know I plenty are going to disagree with me on this, but like kind of like you said with God of War and Spider-Man 2, they're great games. But I felt like Tears of the Kingdom, like that, it was just a follow-up to Breath of the Wild. And it was just more of Breath of the Wild. You just had new things you could do in that world with some new, like an underground and sky. But like, I don't mind that either. Either do that, innovate from the previous game, if that helps, reuse assets, Astrobot, or think of something creative and fun that doesn't have to be a graphical showcase. It doesn't have to be a Hellblade 2. That game took seriously long and it's such a short game, and I wonder if it's because of the technology. I don't know. But people are making it work. Space Marine 2, Pal World, Helldivers 2, Wukong. There's people that are making it work, and we have to study those people.
Yes.
I want to have a moment with the chat and see anything else you guys have to say before we do Rob's good game. I did see a Fire Emblem shout out earlier, Game Resume. Think of games like Fire Emblem Awakening. That was going to be their last game ever as the company. I didn't know that. And games didn't sell well, so they put everything into that game, and it did amazing, bringing success to Fire Emblem. When did Fire Emblem come out? I'm going to look this up. Fire Emblem. Do you know, Rob?
Like the first one ever, or just the...
No, Awakening.
Oh, I think it's 20... it'd be 20 this year? No, last year. No, I'm thinking of the newest one. What was the newest one?
Yeah, April 19th, 2012. So switch the numbers. But yeah. No, that's a good point. Like there are entries that like they need to like take one last big risk and put their all into the project and hope that they will, you know, revitalize it. I'm looking at you, Star Fox, and other things, but yeah, like I could see that point truly. And who knows, like we didn't get a Pikmin 4 for like freaking 10 years, but it did great,
God,
and it's like the highest sold Pikmin ever. So I don't know. It's a good point. What, Rob?
I was just gonna say, like, one of the things that I remember as a kid is, like, you brought up Star Fox, but like Star Fox 64, you were in the ship the entire time and you shoot at space. You know, you shoot space. You're in the spaceship and you shoot things, right? And then for the second game for the GameCube, they were like, you know what? You're just gonna control Fox. There's gonna be this Legend of Zelda like kind of like game, and it was so cool. It was so cool, and they like did something different. And that's
I hear people bash that so much, dude. I thought it was cool too.
That game feels like a fever dream to me sometimes. I'm like, did I hallucinate that? Did that happen? Fox was like hanging around with dinosaurs, and you had a dinosaur sidekick, and you had a staff, and what? Crazy. But I wish that's the kind of stuff we want, though. Like,
I want to shout out C2DD. He says, a rebuttal I'd make to Shawn Layden is, this is Sony's most profitable generation. So that's a good point, but does it feel like it though, Rob? I feel like if this is if this is PlayStation's most profitable generation, which it probably is, I feel like Shawn Layden and all the people with a PS4 are the reason why. Like, it's like Phil said, like, losing that generation was so huge. Like,
I would argue also gaming is as big as it's ever been.
Right.
In the years past, like, so many people game now, right? Like, prior people didn't game as much. Now again, you look at COVID gave a rise to a ton of new gamers, and it became mainstream as far as like, it's cool now to be a gamer, whereas prior it wasn't really that cool. So like, I just think there's just so much more gamers out there today than there ever have been in history.
Yeah.
Everyone's a gamer for the most part.
That's the thing about the Switch. Again, it's just, it's not about the games, but it's also like how huge the install base is. And it's like, it's just, which goes against what Shawn is saying, where it's like I guess what Shawn is saying is like, we might have reached that point. It didn't happen 5 years ago. It's happened today. That we might have reached some kind of peak, and now we need to bring back what about freaking Rock Band and the Wii Sports and all these colorful things that could hit more mainstream people that like don't actually play. My mom hates video games, but she would hop on Guitar Hero and Rock Band with me all the time, baby.
Yep.
Bring it back, Xbox. Yep. Steffi, working class people like me should be okay with playing a game that's less than 30 hours to complete. That's why I play a lot of indie games. I like my experience to be short and sweet and move on. I'm 100% with that. That was a part of our conversation we had on your channel, and it's like, I am currently right now, I am tired and done with games that are 30 hours or more, unless it's like a multiplayer thing. But yeah, Gaming Resume said that I didn't like adventures, so
of course you guys didn't. Why It's always so good. Go play it again. Gotta play it again.
And Creature, finally, Tales of Arise and Space Marine 2 both released on a September 9th and became the best-selling of their franchise and the one to bring in the most new fans. It's true, like Space Marine 2, there's a lot of people, like, I'm one of the new ones. I've never touched Space Marine. I've never touched a Warhammer game ever. So here I am. Granted, I got an opportunity to do that. Thank you to Creature for that. But like, I know freaking Nick from Friday Night Gamecast.
Loved it.
Yeah, and I got my buddy Josh, who's never touched them either. He's on it too, and it's like people are hopping on it now. I don't know. Maybe that's just through how cool of a game it looks. Tales of Arise 2. It's like maybe gaming is now at that spot that there's so many of us that franchises can do really good as long as the game is good. But, Rob, any final comment before you get to attempt your good game?
No, I mean, like I said, I think we tackled that conversation pretty well as far as, you know, what we can expect for games. Like, we want smaller games. We like the little indie games. Like, my fiance loves those little games. She's being Ori and the Willow. By the way, I didn't know Ori and the Willow was a hard game. She's like, this game's hard. She's like, this game's hard. And I'm like, this game's not hard. What are you talking about? And I went to go play. I was like, oh my god, this game's hard. Like,
it's a little difficult. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. Is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Forgotten Forest or Will-O-the-Wisp?
The second one was, I think, harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one is definitely a bit harder than the first. I will say that.
But people want things like that. They want those type of like smaller titles to like enjoy quicker and get more of, because that's what you can do if you have these big 60-hour games. You can't play as many games now. You're stuck to that one game.
Yeah, and I just hope AA too. That was one last other part that I didn't mention in this article, but like Shawn Layden's like, I feel like AA games are dying. It's basically now either indie games thriving or AAA games thriving, and I think that's kind of a dark truth too. I really hope that a lot of our success stories this year are AA games, and I don't know, it's just possible, and I just think people need to study each other. Folks, I hope you're having a good time. Happy Friday. I hope you're going to have a good time playing whatever you're playing this weekend. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to play a good game right now, because, Sir Rob, I have you for an episode of Codename Goodgame that he's put on the glasses. He's ready to go. And Rob, you know what? We are in October. So, I want to challenge you to a game of Over or Under Spooktober Edition.
Ooh.
So, you and Kel played this actually the last time you were on, but now it's just you. And you will hopefully get 3 out of 5 stats that I've gathered for you that all have to do with horror video games. So, this will be interesting for you because, you know, you're the more scaredy cat, whereas Kel's the less scaredy cat. How confident are you?
I think I would argue that I've played more horror games than Kelvin, but I'm more of a scaredy cat. Maybe. We'll see.
Statements you could say that basically translate to, I have bigger balls than that dude.
No, he definitely has bigger balls when it comes to scary games.
No, he has bigger balls, but like you've actually put yourself through the ringer more.
Oh, yeah, but I put myself in, exactly.
I'm willing to do what it takes, kind of a thing. I'm willing to, that's what I'm hearing. I'm willing to do what it takes. But
dude, I'm sweating just thinking about this, so let's do it.
But the first one, I'm going to give you the first one, Rob, because the first one, I have a neat, just a very easy one. So to explain how this game works, if you have not played Over or Under, basically there is going to be a stat, a question that I'm going to ask Rob, as well as the chat. You guys feel free to play along. Rob, maybe don't look at the chat if they might be correct.
Putting it down now.
And if I say how much does 2 + 2 equal 4, or over or under 3, the answer is over, because the answer is 4. So that's how this works. And so there's numbers that you're gonna have to guess over or under, and this first one I want to help warm you up. And it's not exactly a horror game, but it does have some Halloween-like things in it. Rob, this first question: How long does How Long to Beat have Devil May Cry 3 listed for being a completionist? So to do a completionist run on Devil May Cry 3 on How Long to Beat accordingly, over or under 40 hours?
A completionist run of Devil May Cry. Over or under 40 hours?
I just remember Devil May Cry comes up every now and then with you. So I wanted to have a Devil May Cry question.
Am I timed on this? Because I need to like think about it real quick.
I'd say 20 seconds.
Okay. So I'm gonna get all the ranks. You can get all the ranks in one go if you are really good at it. You can get everything all in one. You can get a lot in one playthrough, and then you have to lock all the different modes. But you can really be. I'm gonna say under easy.
You can say under. I'm gonna say the chat is split. So Rob says under. The answer on How Long to Beat, the website, How Long to Beat. What is the average rating for a completionist run for Devil May Cry 3? Over or under 40 hours? The answer is 42 hours. So,
come on. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding
42 me? Hours. I was like, I'm going to find that answer. And then I have a feeling he's going to be like, no way. So I predicted it right. I was like, I bet you he's going to say under. I bet you.
how that game is, there's not that much to the game as far as collectibles, and the only thing I think was the different modes, like the different difficulty modes that would make
Is
you
that
play
one
the
that
game.
you can like replay to get like S rank or whatever?
Yeah, like you could play the missions to get. That's why I was like going through like a completion. It's like if you're just really good, you can get S rank. But I guess it gets really hard.
Maybe that's
so
another.
people,
Maybe that's the thing. It
yeah,
depends on how
difficulty.
good the person is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's where I was thinking of. But damn. Okay. All right. I'm wrong.
All right. So far, we're at 0.
Disappointed in myself. Disappointed.
I know. I should have given you an easier question, but I'm going to challenge you with all these because you basically have a 50-50 shot of what your gut says. So let's a test on your gut. Now, the other 4 questions. Let's get to the horror games. In the game Dead Rising, how many zombies did you have to kill in Dead Rising to unlock the Zombie Genocider achievement? Over or under 53,623? That's a very specific number. 53,623 to get the Zombie Genocider achievement in Dead Rising 1. Over or under 53,623. Do you remember this achievement? Do you have memories of Dead Rising at all, or?
Yeah. Capcom. It came on Xbox. I think it's the first.
Yep.
Can you give me the question one last time?
How many zombies did you have to kill in Dead Rising to unlock the Zombie Genocider achievement? Over or under 53,623?
That's so specific. I hate under. That's too specific. That's way too specific for you to be like, it's over. Gotcha.
I was gonna round this out, but I purposely went specific just to make it like all the more confusing. Chat once again is split. So you're saying under 53,623.
Yeah.
Okay. The answer is, you remember, I'm going to confirm it is 53,000. I said 623. It is 53,594. It is under. Barely. Barely. I could even just round it up and just said 600 and it still would have been under, just barely even more though.
I do remember that achievement though. Like I do remember the weird like number that you had to hit, and it was just like it's
very specific. It's the idea is that like that's the population sign for the town.
Right,
so, like,
right.
You literally genocided the entire town.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anybody in chat know how you would get that achievement? You'd get a car and just run people over in the garage.
Yep. What a fun.
That's all you do for like 3 days straight. You're just running people over at the garage. So ridiculous. Not enough copies, still too much. Yeah, I love that game, dude. That's like one of my favorite.
You really had like craft your items too, right?
No, that was 2. They introduced that in number 2. Yeah.
What was
but the first one? I thought just survival stuff was really good. Oh, 3 does it hardcore, the crafting. Yeah.
Okay. What was the one where you got to beat people with the things? What I'm talking about? With the things. The things.
That's one. That's one.
Okay. That's one? Okay. You know what I'm talking about when I say things, right?
Oh, I understand. Okay.
I
understand. How about Silent Hill? How many Silent Hill projects were announced at the Silent Hill Transmission in October 2022? Over or under 4.5. So do you remember that there was a moment in 2022 where they just like announced stuff? So over or under, how many projects did they announce there? 4.5.
I'm gonna say under.
And you understand the 0.5, right? That's just basically saying 4 or less or 5 or more. So
under. Going
Rob
under
says
for that
under.
one.
I want to see the chat blow up too. So how many Silent Hill projects were announced at the Silent Hill transmission in October 2022? Over under 4.5? Rob says under, correct? Yeah, under?
Yeah, under.
There was... The chat got it right. Good job, chat.
I was wrong.
Silent Hill F.
Mhm.
Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Yep.
Silent Hill Townfall. Silent Hill Ascension. And Return to Silent Hill. There was 5.
Nope, don't remember that one then. I remember F. I remember Silent Hill 2. I remember the little weird
Ascension,
box thing that they were
probably.
showing. Yeah, yep. And that's all the 3 I remember. So
Ascension was the weird Japan looking one or whatever. Yeah. I think Town Hall or I don't remember which town. I mix up Town Hall and F, but one of them is like one that like I can't remember who the movie director is famous, but yeah, they're gonna have it like an interactive Twitch experience. But yeah, it was 5. It was 5 projects. And notice also verbiage. I said projects. Return to Silent Hill is a film. So
No.
I didn't say games. I said projects. So yeah.
Okay, you got me. All right. So I only got one.
Right.
So
one so far. You have to get
Okay.
both of these. Otherwise, we're just gonna have some fun. All right. You know how in that recent Xbox partner preview, Bloober Team showed up? Let's talk about Bloober Team.
Okay.
How many games has Bloober Team developed and or released in the past 5 years? Over or under 3.5? How many games has Bloober Team developed and released in the past 5 years? Over or under 3.5? And this is any kind of game.
Bloober Team in general. I only have 2 in my head. I only have 2. I know there's a third.
I admit when I looked into this, there's one game that I was like, interesting. I'm going to leave it at that for now. I have comments.
What's the number, under or over 3 or 4?
Over or under 3.5. So it's 3 or less or 5 or more. Or 4 or more, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 3 or less, 4 or more. So 3.5. Chat's pretty split.
Give me
Easily
over.
split.
Give me over.
Gonna say over?
Yeah.
Bloober Team. How many games have they developed or released in the past 5 years? Over, under 3.5. Rob says over. There was 5 games that they developed or released in the past 5 years. So, I see not enough coffee. Even. They released exactly 3.5 games. No, there was Layers of Fear 2.
Layers
So
of
they
Fear.
made a sequel
Okay.
to their Layers of Fear. They made the Blair Witch. I did not know that. I
remember that. Yes.
yeah, I didn't know that they did that game. I was like, I actually really like the Blair Witch. I didn't know they did that. The Medium, which I'm sure you
Yep.
knew that one. Yeah.
Yep. And
Then
Silent Hill
they did the Silent Hill 2 remake. So you're already good there, but there was also they remade their game, the first Layers of Fear. So they did a remake too. But yeah. Those are the 5 games that they developed and or released in the past 5 years.
I almost
you
went
evened
under
it,
on that.
Rob.
I almost went under on that one too.
I felt it.
So
I
glad
felt
you
it. I'm like, he's gonna say under, and I'm gonna be so sad.
All right, let's go. Last one, baby. Let's do this.
I can't believe I like Blair Witch, man. That's like one of my favorite horror games. But I didn't know they did that. So final one. According, this is very personal to me. We started on a you note. We're ending on a my note. No, it has nothing to do with Halo.
Okay.
According to VG Insights, how many units sold has Phasmophobia done? Over or under 9.1 million? According to VG Insights, how many units sold has Phasmophobia done? Over under 9.1 million.
I feel like there should be a phone a friend option, like for this to ask like, when did Phasmophobia come out? Because I need to know when it came out.
I mean, I think I can answer that for you, but maybe I shouldn't.
No.
Chat split again.
Oh, this one's so hard. This one is so hard.
9.1 million, man. According to VG Insights, how many units sold?
Over. Give me over. Give me the over on it. Give me the over on it. I know it's stupid, but give me the over. Give me the over. Oh, it's wrong.
9.1 million. Final answer?
Yeah, do it.
According to VG Insights, how many units sold has Phasmophobia done? Over under 9.1 million. According to VG Insights, I can't believe it, but they say 21.4 million.
Let's go. Let's go.
Just barely, Rob. You made it 3 out of 5. I'm feeling like all myself right now. Oh my God. But like, I need to look into this because I don't believe that for a hot second. 21 million?
You know why? But because it's a multiplayer game, you need other people. So it's word of mouth, right? It's like, okay, I'm playing this game.
That's a good point.
You gotta buy it, you gotta buy it, you gotta buy it, you gotta buy it. So that automatically it's for one session, you have 4 people buying the game. That's 4 copies.
Insane, dude.
And
I'm trying.
Is it available for PlayStation or is it just Steam?
For now, it's just Steam.
That's why I was gonna say under, because I'm like, it's only on Steam. You can't get it on Xbox and PlayStation. So that's why I was like, there's no way. But I'm like, no, there's a lot. I know a lot of people that play that game, and I'm pretty sure. When
you know
I look
what,
at, like,
Rob? Here's another shout out. Here's another shout out because I'm looking at the VG Insights where I got this from. This was released smack dab when COVID started.
Yeah, that's
a big factor.
Yeah.
That's a big factor. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, this was a horror game. That was a co-op game that was actually really fun and very, very well received. That was released during COVID, and we saw what happened with Among Us. Yeah, that was right during the boom that was gaming. So that makes sense. But 21 million. This is an example, man. It says like they generated 225 million gross revenue. This is an indie game, to not harken back that conversation, but you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Gameplay and word of mouth is going to be, can't beat that. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulate Rob for getting 3 out of 5 for the Spooktober Over Under edition. Rob, thank you so much for swinging by. Any final comments on anything you or Kel are working on or anything you're doing?
Guys, again, we are the Gaming Duo podcast. We do podcast a new episode drops every 2 weeks or so, and we cover a variety of gaming industry topics. We usually have guests on the show, and we just overall like to have a good time and talk everything video games. So if you want a conversation, come on over to the Gaming Duo. We also have a YouTube channel. We are kind of in the works of doing some ranking videos. So right now we have 2 out. So go ahead and check that out if you like rankings. Me and Kelvin kind of go back and forth of what we like to rank and what we put in what ranks. So it's a fun time. So go check that out.
I think it's a very nice time to like see whose list you agree with more. I think that is a good factor of those. So that's cool, man. Steffi says, thank you, Rob. Nice hearing from you. Yeah, Rob, thank you so much. I hope you had a good time. And I say thank you as well to the chat. Thank you guys very much for being here. Steffi, Gaming Resume, Not Enough Coffee, Supertone, Creature. I saw lots. I saw Dog Tag Duke at one point. That's a long time name. Appreciate you guys watching this. We should hopefully be back next week with maybe another Spooktober theme. But what will happen? Who knows? But anyway, I hope you all have a good time. Have a good weekend. Be geek, be proud, be awesome. It's never too late to speculate. And next week, maybe I will actually be dressed as Rob. Will I? You have to tune in to find out. See ya!
Adios.